Alright, today we're doing a little behind the scenes here at Martyupnorth. So that's my son Patrick, who's going to show what it looks like when I'm documenting a trip. Hey friends, Martyupnorth. I'm in my backyard. I'm in front of a wood pile, my little wood shed. I spent over the course of the last couple of weeks while in isolation, I had the opportunity to cut a lot of wood. So I thought I'd make a nice background. You saw the title of this video. The title of this video is my review of a company called Vantop's sports camera. The sports camera is called the Moment 5C. And full disclosure, they sent me this camera. I did not pay for this camera. And so I'll do a review of the camera. I do actually get a lot of requests to review equipment. And I tell people, I reply back that, you know, if the review is for a piece of equipment that I would never use on a hike, then I have no interest and I won't waste time. But I will review gear that I can use on a hike. And in this case, a camera is absolutely something that I can use on a hike. I use cameras all the time. Now, I want to show you real quick, you know, here's an old bin full of cameras. And for years and years, I used these Sony Cybershots. In fact, this one is, if you look in the bin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just pushing Tika away. I have 5 of these. Now these cameras were 720 at best. You know, they weren't 1080. But the reason I like these kinds of cameras for years is because you could bring numerous batteries. I don't like cameras with a built-in battery that gets recharged by USB, such as an iPhone or something like that, because there's a lot of things that can happen. You can kill a battery accidentally by leaving it on. So when I go hiking, I always appreciated the opportunity to bring a camera with batteries, so I had lots of batteries. Now I don't use this camera anymore, but and in a future episode I will do, you know, you saw recently I did the evolution of my cook stoves. I will do a video on the evolution of camera gear because I used a lot more cameras before that. But after I started, I stopped using cameras like this. I used a GoPro. This is a GoPro 3. I'm taping right now on a GoPro 4. And the GoPro was an amazing development. I call these, you know, the sports camera. Now, this camera has been copied by a lot of other companies, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that happens in any product, right? You know, the first company to come up with a pickup truck got copied, so you don't say that a Chevy is a knockoff of a Ford pickup. It's just another version of the pickup. Well, the same goes with these cameras. So sports cameras, now a lot of companies make sports cameras, and so Vantop sent me their version. So this is another brand of a sports camera. Now I suspect that parts of it are compatible with the GoPro, but it's a different brand altogether. And so I will be showing you parts that come with the kit, but I will also be making 2 videos because this camera actually has great features right now. It has removable batteries, it is waterproof, it has a touchscreen behind this screen, which is a nice feature because it was one of the drawbacks of using my GoPro 4 over the years, is you couldn't always frame the shots, but now there's no excuse because this has a touchscreen. But what I'll do is I'll show you the contents here real quick, and then I'm going to do 2 videos. So I'm going to do a video with this camera that I'm talking to you through right now, which is my Hero 4, and then I will do the same video, or closely as possible, using the Vantop Moment 5C, and we can see for ourselves the difference. So hopefully you enjoy this review. Full disclosure, like I said, I didn't pay for this. They sent it to me, but when I look online, these things are coming down in price. This is about $139 delivered on Amazon. So think about that. That's something else that I promote in general. You know, if you want to get out hiking, not everything you buy has to be super expensive. There are more reasonable alternatives to tents and sleeping bags and all sorts of gear. Well, the same applies to cameras. So Let's do a review of the Vantop Moment 5C. Alright, so let's look at the camera first. Nice camera. Right now it's in its waterproof case. Nice lens. So I know from the box it says it's a touchscreen. Now I can see the touchscreen is about a 1.5-inch touchscreen. I'm just going to leave that on for now. You can't access the touchscreen when it's in the waterproof case. I imagine there is a skeleton case included in the kit so that you can take it out of there and film when you're not going in the water, because the problem with the waterproof cases is that you don't get good sound. If it doesn't come with a waterproof case or a non-waterproof case, what I do is I'll drill holes in there so you can access the microphones, because I don't do a lot of underwater photography with these things. But just looking at it, I can see it's got 4 buttons, so I imagine it's fairly typical on-off, and then a toggle switch to select between the different modes, camera and video camera and stills and timer and stuff like that. Now there's 2 buttons on the side. Either they're for volume up and down, or maybe even the lens has an opportunity to zoom in and zoom out. It didn't say so on the case, but that'd be an interesting feature if you could zoom in and zoom out. That's one of the problems with a lot of sports cameras. They don't zoom in and out, so you have a fixed focus. Otherwise it's like a standard looking camera. I wonder, I suspect that the fittings are compatible with GoPro. That'd be a nice feature. For the price, you get an awful lot of features. So there's a small battery charger. Tika, go away, please. There's a battery charger. There's a couple of batteries. I can tell by just looking at the battery that it is not compatible with any of my other cameras, but that's fine. Actually, I'm going to put the things on the lid of this. A couple of cameras, a spare screen, back cover, attachments for a tripod, more accessories for mounting the cameras, different mounts, a USB cable. It uses a micro USB, a second battery. That looks like a frame. Oh yeah, so if you take the camera out of its casing, its waterproof casing, and you just mount it on this, then you have what I call a skeleton mount, which gives you, one of the problems with a waterproof casing is the sound. What is this? Some sort of clip. We'll go through all this. An armband. Another armband looks like. Ooh, a remote. More mounts. Bicycle mount. These kinds of bicycle mounts are really handy because you can actually mount your camera on your walking stick. More mounts. And little tethers, so you can if you're mounting your camera, let's say on something like a surfboard or in your canoe or outside your car, and you bump it, and that tether gives you a little extra safety. And then a couple of manuals, quick start manual with a QR code. I suspect with the QR code you can download some software real quick, and a basic instruction manual. Alright, so that's the quick unboxing of the Moment 5C camera by Vantop. Quick, 4K, 60 frames per second, 20 megapixel camera, 6-axis image stabilization, 170-degree field of view, touchscreen, and waterproof to 100 feet. So excellent. So that's the quick unboxing. Looks like an awesome setup, lots of accessories, enough stuff to get you going. All right, so this is 4K, 60 frame per second. No image stabilization. So this is what it's like typically when I'm in the field doing a hike and I'm self-taping. So there's no image stabilization right now. I'm just walking on the trail. Actually, I'm walking along my property, my fence line. I'm going to the end of the line here. And I'm going to turn around. Doing my best to hold it steady. All right, the same scene with image stabilization, 4K, 60 frames per second. Again, very common when I'm walking on the trail. I don't bring a gimbal. I've gotten quite good at just turning the camera around and narrating and showing scenes. Same shot with the wind noise reduction. Okay, let me show you the camera quickly here, close up. This is outside of its case. So a micro USB port, a micro HDMI, a slot for the SD cards, a point to attach to a tripod, a battery door, and so forth. Let me turn it on. Now when you turn it on, very intuitive screen. So when I turn it on right now, it's showing me, you know, fresh battery, record mode. This icon is the video stabilization, electronic stabilization. This icon is wind reduction, and it's in 4K, 60 frames per second. So if I hit the setup, I can change the resolution. Let's say I want to go to a different resolution for whatever reason. I might want to go to 1280, whatever. I might want to turn off the image stabilization and so forth. So if I come back, now you see that icon's gone, and I'm in 720 mode. Now, you know, let me show you quickly. I'm not going to go through all this because there's so many features, but I can do loop recording. I can set a time-lapse interval. You know, there's 1 second, 3 second, 10 second, 30 seconds. I can set at different time-lapse intervals. I can do slow motion movies, fast motion movies, which, you know, things that help you with the creativity of your videos. If I touch here, here's an interesting thing. This is a camera, it's an international camera, so it allows you to choose the power frequency. So here in North America, we're 60 hertz. If you're in some other part of the world, you might choose 50 hertz. That will help with how the video looks on a replay, you know, the flickering and things like that. Because a 50 hertz TV will play back looking differently than a 60 hertz. So lots of features for this for the price point, this camera has a ton of features. Now, if I actually, here's an example of the quality. Now, one thing, when it's in when you're using the case, so right now it's out of the case, the touchscreen does not activate when it's in the case. You can't touch through the case. So what you do then is you hold the power button for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and then it brings up a slightly different menu, but you can navigate through the menu using the up and down arrow. So now, you know, Wi-Fi, fast motion, and so forth. So if you choose those features, then you can select using the front button, and away you go. So just a quick overview, just packed with features for a camera in this price range. Okay, so there you go. That was quick. You know, showed you the unboxing of the camera, all the pieces that it comes with. Then I did a couple of videos in the backyard. I did a time lapse. I did a stop motion. You know, variations on using the electronic image stabilization. I mean, the best way to show stabilization would be if you could put with and without side by side, but I don't have editing software that allows me to do that. So, but the camera does absolutely everything it says it's gonna do, and it does it at an incredibly reasonable price. I mean, this thing is like $139 Canadian on Amazon, and if you have Amazon Prime, it's delivered quickly. So you can't go wrong with a camera like this. Now, I said I was going to do a side-by-side video comparing this camera to the GoPro. I'm not going to do that. Actually, it's Saturday, or it's Friday, and I'm leaving tomorrow morning on an overnight trip. Here in Alberta, the restrictions on the parks have been lifted, so we're allowed to go hiking again. So I'm going hiking again tomorrow, and on an overnight, and I'm going to bring this camera on the trip, and I'm going to use it for my overnight video. So so this is a quick introduction to this camera, but now, and I'm very impressed with what you get in the box, ready to go. But now I'm going to go do in a separate video, I'll upload a video filmed with this Vantop camera, and I'll upload it in 4K, which will be my first 4K video. So look for that, and in the meantime, you know, hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and if you have questions about this or anything that I do, fire me off some questions. So Marty up north saying thanks for watching, and get off the beaten path.